You set the alarm. You had a plan. And then you didn't do it. Not because you forgot. Not because something came up. You just couldn't. You lay there, or you scrolled, or you stared at the ceiling, and some quiet voice in the back of your head said the same thing it always says. What is wrong with you? Here's what I want you to consider today. Nothing is wrong with you. But something is happening inside you. Something your brain is doing on purpose for reasons that made perfect sense a long time ago. And until you understand what it is, you'll keep fighting yourself and losing. This isn't a video about motivation. It's about your nervous system. And once you see what's actually going on, the word lazy will never feel the same again. We've been taught to think of laziness as a character flaw, a sign of weakness, poor discipline, or a bad attitude. Self-help culture loves to frame it as a choice, like you just need to want it badly enough. But neuroscience tells a different story. What most people call laziness is actually the nervous system doing exactly what it was designed to do: conserve energy and avoid perceived threat. Your brain is not failing you. It's protecting you just from the wrong things. Here's the key concept. Your nervous system has two primary modes. The first is the ventral vagal state: calm, connected, creative, open. This is the state where you make plans, stick to goals, feel motivated, and enjoy your life. The second mode is survival mode, and it has two settings: fight or flight and shut down. Most people know fight or flight. But shutdown is the one nobody talks about. It's the freeze response. And it looks exactly like laziness from the outside. Your nervous system is always scanning the environment for signals of safety or danger. This process is called neuroception, and here's the critical part: it happens below conscious awareness. You don't decide to go into survival mode. It decides for you. When your brain detects threat, and that threat can be a deadline, a difficult conversation, an email you've been avoiding, or even just too many open tabs, it triggers a cascade of physiological changes. Cortisol rises. The prefrontal cortex, the part responsible for planning and motivation, goes quiet. And the older, more primitive parts of your brain take over. In freeze response, the body conserves energy. Movement feels impossible. Decision-making shuts down. You feel heavy, foggy, disconnected. You might describe it as feeling unmotivated, stuck, or, yes, lazy. But this is not a personality trait. It is a physiological state. Researcher Stephen Porges, who developed polyvagal theory, describes the shutdown response as the nervous system's last line of defense, an ancient survival mechanism that kicks in when the brain decides that fighting or fleeing won't work. The body plays dead. It goes offline. It waits. The problem is that modern life triggers this ancient system constantly. Chronic stress, poor sleep, social pressure, digital overstimulation. Your brain doesn't distinguish between a predator and a passive-aggressive Slack message. It just knows: danger. Shut down. And when you're in that state, no amount of self-criticism will move you forward. Because the part of your brain that responds to "just try harder" is offline. Here's what makes this cycle so painful. When you freeze and don't do the thing, you feel ashamed. Shame activates the threat response. And threat response deepens the freeze. You feel lazy, so you feel bad about feeling lazy, so you feel worse, so you do even less. It's not a motivation problem. It's a nervous system loop. This is why harsh self-talk backfires. Every time you call yourself lazy, undisciplined, or a failure, you're adding more threat to a system that's already overwhelmed. You're not pushing yourself forward, you're pushing yourself deeper into shutdown. The people who seem endlessly productive? Research suggests they've built environments and habits that keep their nervous system in a regulated state more often. It's not a moral difference. It's a physiological one. So what actually works? The first step is regulation before action. You cannot think your way out of a nervous system state. You have to move through it physiologically. One of the most effective tools is the physiological sigh, a double inhale through the nose followed by a long exhale through the mouth. Just 2 or 3 of these can shift your nervous system out of freeze within 60 seconds. It's not meditation. It's biology. The second tool is micromovement. When the freeze response locks you in place, any small physical action, standing up, stretching, walking to another room, sends a signal to your brain that you are not, in fact, in danger. Movement breaks the shutdown loop. The third tool is reducing perceived threat. Often what keeps us frozen is the overwhelming size of a task. Your brain sees a huge goal and calls it a predator. Break it down until it stops looking like one. Not write the report. Just open the document. That's a task small enough to feel safe. And finally, self-compassion is not soft. Research by Kristen Neff at the University of Texas shows that self-compassion, not self-criticism, is what actually predicts sustained motivation and resilience. When you treat yourself like a system that's doing its best under difficult conditions, because you are, your nervous system gets safer. And a safer nervous system is a more capable one. You were never broken. You were just stuck in a state your brain thought was necessary. The path forward isn't about pushing harder. It's about feeling safe enough to move. And that starts with understanding what's actually happening inside you. If this video helped you see yourself a little differently today, share it with someone who needs to hear it. And if you want to go deeper into how your brain shapes your behavior, this channel is built for exactly that. I'll see you in the next one.